Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be comparing American Airlines' main cabin extra and regular main cabin on the 737-800 from a recent trip that I took to New York for Labor Day weekend. Hopefully after watching this video, it'll be clear whether or not main cabin extra is worth a $20 to $60 upgrade. Thanks for watching and hope you enjoy the video. Main cabin extra takes up the first 8 or so rows after business class on the 737-800. In general, main cabin extra would be the first 3 to 10 rows of seats behind the business and first class cabins, but it really depends on the plane. For example, on the 767-300ER, 787-9, and 777-300ER, main cabin extra takes up only 3 rows. On the 777-200, it's only 5 rows. On the 787-8, main cabin extra is around 6 or so rows, and on the 757-200, main cabin extra is 9 rows, counting the exit rows. Main cabin extra has its ups and downs just like the other classes. Let's start with the pros. Main cabin extra is located towards the front of the plane, which means earlier boarding and not worrying about not having any space to store your luggage in the overhead bins. And of course, main cabin extra also offers 4 to 6 inches of extra legroom. Unfortunately, with the pros, there are also cons. The first downside of main cabin extra is that the only thing you pay for is extra legroom. So that means no free meals, no free internet access unless you pay for it, and no lounge access. So basically with that extra $20 to $60, you only get extra legroom and nothing else. The first leg of my trip to New York would take me to Washington Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C. There, I would have a 2-hour layover and then hop onto an American ERJ-190 with service to New York LaGuardia. Boarding started on time and I was in Group 5 for boarding. Like I said, with main cabin extra, you always board earlier than the regular economy cabin. But the rest of my family was in Group 7, so I boarded with the rest of them. As we were boarding, the flight attendant handed me and my sisters each a pair of these American Airlines wings, which was very kind and I very much appreciated that gesture. I was also complimented on my American Airlines old livery wings that I was wearing at the time. The seat back in main cabin extra is almost identical to the ones in regular main cabin. The only difference is, as you can tell, the wider gap between your legs and the seat back. I use that extra space to store my backpack in front of me. Now I'm around 5'9", so this was enough legroom for me. For both my 737 flights, I flew on the older American 737s. These 737s feature the overhead drop-down screens, and the controls for them will be found in your armrest, as you can see here. There are also power outlets between seats throughout the aircraft. We pushed back from the gate on time and had a relatively fast taxi to the runway for takeoff. During this taxi, I was able to see one of the last ever wingless 767s in American's fleet. We pulled straight onto runway 9 right for takeoff without having to wait for any other aircraft to take off before us. The main reason I selected to sit in main cabin extra was because of the amazing view and the awesome sound that you will hear from the CFM56 engines momentarily. We crossed Lake Michigan during our climb. That city you're looking at right now is Michigan City, Indiana. I'll be honest with you, I was not very happy with the tray table. First of all, it was pretty dirty and they did not clean it well during the turnaround. Another annoying thing about it was whenever I pulled it towards me and let go, it would always slide back into its original position, which was very hard, especially during the drink service. The snack and drink service started shortly after reaching cruising altitude. The only option for snack today was the Biscoff cookies, which are really good, and to drink I had water. Wi-Fi was available on the flight, but internet access was for a charge. On the bright side, you could stream TV and movies on your device for free. All you had to do was download the American Airlines app. Before I knew it, we were descending into Washington, D.C. We had a beautiful approach over the Potomac River, followed by an amazing landing on Runway 1. We also got a nice view of the Washington Monument as we taxied to the gate. That's gonna do it for this flight. Now let's see how regular main cabin is like on my return flight from LaGuardia to Chicago O'Hare. After a very quick stay in New York, it was time to head back to Chicago. We got to LaGuardia Airport with about 2 hours to spare before the flight boarded, so unfortunately my mom decided to switch us onto an earlier flight to O'Hare. I had a window seat with the original flight, but unfortunately when we got switched, I lost my window seat and I was switched to an aisle seat. When I stepped onto the aircraft, I was invited by the pilots to come and visit the cockpit. It was an amazing experience and it was the first time I ever visited the cockpit of an aircraft during a flight. Here's a look at the seat back. The seat back in Main Cabin Extra and Main Cabin are almost the same. The only difference is obviously the legroom. In Main Cabin, it's only 31 inches. For a person that's 5'9" like me, or under 6 feet, it should not be a problem sitting here. There are also universal power outlets located in between seats. Since I was in the aisle seat, there was not much to film, but I was able to snag this quick shot of us pulling onto the runway before departure. We took off on time, and besides a few bumps here and there, it was a relatively smooth flight. Just like all my other American Airlines flights, Wi-Fi was available on the flight. As I mentioned earlier, internet access is for a charge, but you can stream TV and movies on your device for free. Unlike my previous flight on the 737, the tray table on this flight was clean and I had no problems with it. Once again, I was on one of the older American 737s with the drop-down overhead screens. Snack service started shortly after reaching the cruise altitude. I bought a tuna sandwich inside the airport as American does not offer free meals in economy or main cabin extra. The snack was the pretzels and I opted for a Coke as my drink. I also watched the movie Life of Pi on my phone. Before I knew it, we were landing in Chicago. This is the best shot I could get of the landing from my seat. We landed about 30 minutes early and had a relatively fast taxi to the gate. So after flying in both main cabin extra and regular main cabin, I can conclude that if you're under 6 feet tall, sitting in regular main cabin should not be a problem for you. Legroom was okay for me. I did not have any problem stretching out, and I was fine for the entire 2-hour flight. Now don't get me wrong, main cabin extra is still a great product and I would highly recommend it, but only if you have some extra money. If you're under 6 feet tall, sitting in regular main cabin shouldn't be a problem. Like I said, I only booked the seat for the view, and also because it was actually a really cheap upgrade, about only $13 of an upgrade from regular main cabin. So is main cabin extra really worth that $20 to $60 upgrade? No. Not if you're under 6 feet. If you are over 6 feet, then I think you should take main cabin extra into consideration. Do keep in mind, however, that main cabin extra is priced depending on how long the route is. For example, on a flight from Chicago to Washington, D.C., main cabin extra will probably be about $20 extra. But on a flight from Chicago to London, main cabin extra will probably be about $100 per person. Thanks for watching this video and I hope you all enjoyed. Hopefully this video will help you make your decisions on whether or not you should choose to book main cabin extra on your next flight with American Airlines. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe for more videos. Also, feedback is appreciated as this is my first time doing a narrated trip report video. Thanks for watching once again, and see you guys next time.